Father Paul Norman's mission to be an instrument of Christ's love and mercy led him first to a career in nursing. But while caring for one very special patient, the call to priesthood returned, culminating in his ordination today in Springfield. Rebecca Drake has his vocation story.
The first call to priesthood came at a young age for Father Paul Norman.
When I was about 14 years old, I was at a penance service with my father, and Monsignor heard my confession at the time, and I remember at that moment, I can't recall what he said exactly, but I remember I got the impression that God wanted me to do for other people what Monsignor just did for me.
That priest, Monsignor Homer Goslin, was pastor of Father Paul's home parish, Notre Dame in North Adams.
He was always a shining example of what it meant to be a good priest, to be kind, to be compassionate. He was loving in all of his deeds.
Thoughts of the priesthood were replaced by those of dating and marriage during his high school years, and inspired by his mother's example, Paul pursued a nursing degree.
I worked in geriatrics, followed in the footsteps of my mother, and also with people with developmental disabilities.
But Father Paul says the examples of faith provided by his family and his parish priest stayed with him throughout his nursing career.
Well, we're all called to holiness. We're all called to love others. And so that was primarily the goal throughout my nursing career, was to love.
And although it would be 30 years from that first call to the priesthood to his ordination day here at St. Michael's Cathedral, Father Paul says that God's grace was with him every step of the way. Eventually, one patient in particular, a quadriplegic man, would become a powerful instrument of God's grace for the future priest.
We were having a conversation one day, and we were exchanging blessings in our lives. And I asked him, I said, well, what was the greatest blessing in your life? And he said, breaking my neck. In and through that experience, he came to find God in a special and unique way.
The testimony of this man, who now paints sacred art with a paintbrush held in his mouth, was a turning point in Paul Norman's life.
And it brought me back to that initial call when I was 14 years old. It brought me back there immediately, and I knew, oh, God's still calling. You know, we may not immediately follow his call, but when God calls, he never stops.
A period of discernment led him to the St. John the 23rd Seminary in Weston, Massachusetts, and in his final year of formation to All Saints Parish in Ware to serve as a deacon.
I think after being with Deacon Paul for almost a year, I think he's a very joyful person, and most of all, I think he enjoys to work with the homebound people.
The pastor, called Father Peter by his parishioners, notes another special devotion that the new priest will bring to his ministry, praying in front of the Blessed Sacrament.
And probably he's going to say that this is where we should start. To go for the Holy Hour, pray in the front of Blessed Sacrament, and ask him for graces and advices in our life.
As he begins his priesthood journey, Father Paul says he is grateful for all those who have guided him to this point, including Father Peter.
I've been blessed to have wonderful formators in my life. Father Peter has been a shining example of what it means to be a priest, as well as what it means to work incredibly hard to serve the people of God.
For the three men ordained on the 6th anniversary of his own ordination, Father Peter has this advice.
I would say the major advice, and I would say it is, first of all, to pray, and always remember that the prayer life is the most important in our priesthood.
Father Peter also advises the new priests to listen to and learn from the pastors, the bishop, and their brother priests, and stay close to the people they serve.
We need to be with them. We shouldn't be somewhere in the office spaces or in different places, but we need to be among the people. That will be my prayer and my advice as well to them.
And Father Paul is ready to heed this advice.
The Lord called me home, and he called me home to serve the people of this diocese for a reason, at this time and in this place, here and now.
As he heads for his first assignment, Father Paul carries with him the best wishes of the Ware parishioners who have embraced him as a family member.
God bless him, and I hope he stays how he is. Thank you. I love you, Father.
A blessed beginning for the priesthood of Father Paul Norman. For Real to Real, I'm Rebecca Drake.